Yes, Antony Blinken is having a very busy day today in Brussels. He's holding crisis meetings with his European counterparts following the election of Donald Trump about what the Biden administration can do over the next 2 months before Trump takes power to maximize and preload support for Ukraine. So this morning he met with the new NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Speaking alongside him to the press, Rutte thanked Blinken for everything he had done over the past 2 years and said the next 2 months will be crucial. I think tacitly admitting there that NATO leaders expect Donald Trump to pull support for Ukraine. He's also meeting with EU leaders here at the headquarters behind me. And as well, the Ukrainian foreign minister and the British foreign minister have come here to Brussels today, again, to participate in these crisis talks. The key thing that he needs to reassure allies is that the Biden administration is going to do everything it can over the next 2 months. But of course, European leaders know there's a limit to what that can accomplish.
We have, of course, Antony Blinken, who we played that soundbite, said they're going to send every single penny that has been allocated for Ukraine out the door. But what is the mood like amongst European leaders? Because we've, of course, heard them say time and time again that they will continue to support Ukraine for as long as it takes. But with that impending change coming in Washington and fatigue setting in European capitals, what's the mood really like?
Well, of course, European leaders are publicly saying that they will continue their strong support for Ukraine no matter what. But privately, the mood is very different here in Brussels. There is an expectation that Trump will pull U.S. support for Ukraine. The looming question is whether or not he would try to force Ukraine to surrender to Russia on Moscow's terms in order to fulfill his campaign promise to end the war by the time he takes office on January 20th. There are kind of two schools of thoughts. There are some voices in Europe, particularly in Eastern Europe and the United Kingdom, that are insisting that Donald Trump will not pull support for Ukraine. I can tell you here in Brussels and in continental Western Europe, there isn't such thinking. The assumption is he will pull support. The question is whether he forces Ukraine to surrender. Can Europe continue its support? Some voices here are saying Europe should at least make the offer, and then it will be up to Ukraine, up to President Zelensky, to decide whether he thinks Ukraine can keep going with only European support. But it's a big ask. People know here that NATO is an American-centered military alliance, and it's hard to imagine a NATO operation going forward without the United States participating. And of course, the support for Ukraine has been centered around NATO, so it would be a difficult ask.
We'll see how this story pans out. Dave, thank you very much for that. Dave Keating reporting that for us. Now, U.S. Aviation